All right, another morning, another pump. And that is just freaking perfect with me. But Tuesday is going to start with some swollen arms. Tries, buys, maybe a touch of forearms, maybe a little touch of shoulders. I don't know. I'm not when I'm lifting, depending on the lift, a full-on leg day, that's enough. When I'm done with legs, that's given me the sensation of, I'm done. I did it. But with a smaller muscle group, give it maybe it's like a chest day, back. Back's not as small, but a little bit of back, arms. I might want to hit a little extra, just because, it's freaking fun. But Target came in clutch. If you're ever traveling around and you don't pack any I'm looking around. That was my dilemma earlier. I got an RTD in the gym last night, one of the bum thavages, which is pretty good. But I got a tub of Bum Essential. So yeah, if you're ever traveling and you're looking for some raw, Target is the place to go. They have got it. So a little watermelon, that'll do me good pump wise. But I was just, and I think this every time I'm traveling, every time I get to go to a new gym, or even if I just go to a gym that's a little bit further away than where I usually go. I've got a little bit of a circle in my city. I'll hit a YMCA, Planet Fitness. Haven't hit an Anytime Fitness for a little while, but that's partially, actually no, that's just really because I let my membership run out, and I just haven't gone back and renewed it. But Anytime is sweet. So yeah, Planet, Anytime, YMCA, my little gym, Metro Fitness. There's a there's the Pros gym down in Columbus, pretty cool. And then a little bit further out, American Barbell. But that's kind of the extent of my loop. So every time I get to go anywhere else, whether it's for like a meet and greet thing, or different expos or bodybuilding shows that they kind of have like an expo tied onto, I get to see gyms that are just freaking nuts. This isn't, well, I guess they're all cool, but the UFC gym in Pittsburgh, super cool. Just a full-on badass training facility. I didn't see what the actual like monthly rates were, because all I did was got 2 day passes, and then the guy was super cool, so he hooked me up. But that was a really badass gym. Tons of new equipment, all sorts of fancy pants, like Nautilus stuff, or maybe Pendulum. I don't remember. But either way, awesome. And every time I'm traveling like that and I get to talk to some of these guys, I'm like, is this your home gym? You are fucking spoiled. You're freaking spoiled. I started working out in my YMCA, and before then, it was just a set of weights in my parents' basement, and that was kind of the end of it. So I don't think about it as much now, but every so often I kind of get a little bit of a reflection, like, okay, what is better? Let's say you're a beginner dude, you're a 1 year, 2 year into the gym kind of guy. Is it better to live 3 minutes away from Gold's Gym Venice and start working out there? You pretty much got everything. The atmosphere is crazy, and you probably get to see a bunch of freaking, badass bodybuilder, influencer kind of dudes showing up every so often, just right in your backyard. Is it better to start working out there, or to start working out at more of a, kind of grungier, smaller, maybe less equipped, but tastefully equipped gym? The machines they've got are solid. And then you kind of develop a little more, let's just say, of a skill set to use your equipment wisely, right? So it's like, do you want access to everything you can imagine off rip? Or do you want to be able to make do in a way with a little bit more restricted movements? Maybe not every Panada Arsenal freaking hammer strength row in the world imaginable right at your fingertips. But you got good cables, you got heavy dumbbells, you kind of work in the basics first. And then every time you travel around, you get to use other stuff. I've been seeing everybody freak out about the Mega Mass row. I have not used it yet, so this is, maybe if I do use it, I would also be freaking out about it, and then I'd just be part of that little group. But it's like, at what point do we really think that the equipment around us is what makes the gym, and what makes really just kind of like what makes us, right, in terms of our training and our actual progress and ability to just kill it. And I don't really think it's so necessary. You know, I'd say more important than that is the people around you in the gym. You know, I've been to a few now that armbrust, or I forget, is it Pros Gym armbrust? No, Powerhouse? Crap, I don't remember. This is only like a month ago, like 3 weeks ago or something. But that gym had insane energy. Everybody was freaking yoked in their own way. Some of the dudes obviously were full on like bodybuilder types, but everybody else was still killing it. You ever go to, this is, you know, across the pond over in the UK at Dino's gym. I have never seen more photos of just old school. I mean, relic isn't the right word because Dino's in the pictures. He's in every picture with Dorian and freaking Ronnie, and they're all in the same gym that he's still running over there. I mean, it's and the people, just the actual dudes in there working out, I didn't see anybody slacking. You know, they were working out in groups, but they were really killing it. So, you know, when I look back, I'd say my most nostalgic gym experience in terms of the actual people in the gym was my college rec center. You know, that's where I made most of my, well, not most, obviously, like your high school friends and stuff, but a lot of the guys I liked in school were the dudes I was talking to in there. And maybe that's because I've got a bit of a lifter bias, but if I saw my buddy Teague from the gym in a certain class that I was in, guess what? We're sitting together, you know, and that's kind of the end of it. So whether that's whether that's mean or not, whatever. But yeah, that was awesome because everybody was just getting after it. If you're in college now and you've got a rec center, maybe you're not even using it yet, you're thinking about it. You know, maybe you just graduated high school, you're moving on to bigger, better things, either in-state, out-of-state, you know, who gives a crap. I think there's a lot of value to be found wherever weights are around. So something to keep in mind. So if you've got honestly, it's not like I did any clubs in college or anything, but I'd say that the gym almost counted considering how consistent everybody was, because it was just a guarantee. You pull up at 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock, whatever, the crew would be there. It must have been an unspoken schedule, you know, and that's not something you get everywhere. If you can be in a gym where you can just go up to pretty much anybody, hey man, can I work in? We're almost not even saying that. Like the tension in that rec center when we were all there was negative. You weren't saying, can I? It's like, hey man, I'm gonna work in with you a little bit. Like, I guess it depended on the person, but no, it was very chill. So if you're in a gym like that, you know, you got a real set of regulars. They're all hustling, and you know, you're just one of them. Make sure you enjoy it. Make sure you freaking sap that in, right? I don't want to say take up space, but you know, bust out a tripod every now and again, get a clip of a set where your buddy's spotting you. You're gonna want to see that later. You know, I'm really glad I started recording all these, not just for like the social media angle, but for the fact that I can go back whenever the hell I want and watch, whatever workout I was doing. Obviously, I'm just, you know, talking to myself for the most of it, but still, just even getting to kind of go back in time like that and just see everything in like freaking picture perfect 4K because I upgraded the camera. It's cool, right? You will not regret it. So I guess all I'm trying to say is if you've got a badass gym, make sure you enjoy it. And if you think you've got a scrappy gym, use that as like a chip on your shoulder motivation and say, man, I don't need that fancy shit. I'm getting after it in my fucking dungeon gym. You know, the private one that my city has, where it's not a key card, it's a fucking key. Like your membership is a straight up key that lets you unlock the door whenever the hell you want. You know, so if you got a gym like that, I'd love to hear about it, because I'm traveling all over the place. Not all the time, but every so often, you know, especially with we're doing a lot of meet and greets with Raw, where we'll kind of just hit different supplement stores all over the place. So, you know, if you know you've got a badass something or other in your city, I would love to hear about it, gym or otherwise. But yeah, now I'm just getting into a total banter. I freaking miss my exit. I miss my exit hyping up the college rec center. But yeah, plan for arms, just go nuts. You know, I'm talking probably, I don't know. Here's my dilemma. I like triceps first. I like triceps and then biceps. But I like finishing the workout with triceps because your triceps are substantially larger than your biceps are. So if my biceps are pretty pumped after hitting biceps first, and then I finish with a hardcore tricep pump, obviously they're both going to be hardcore, but you get what I'm saying, then in the pose down, I feel like it makes my arms look bigger. Or I could not compromise at all and just do superset style workout where I do a set of push downs and then a set of curls. So I'm not sure what I want to do. I'm gonna have to think about it in a minute. And there's no wrong answer. Like I really don't think there's a wrong way to do it, because it's a whole gradient. On one side you could do triceps then biceps, on the other side biceps then triceps, and in the middle, you know, I've got a few mix-ups where I might do push down set, rest a minute, curl set, rest a minute, back and forth like that. Or I like this one, I'll do 3 sets of push downs, 3 sets of curls, 2 sets of push downs, 2 sets of curls, 1 set of push down, 1 set of curls, and then a superset of the 2, where maybe you grab an easy bar handle, put it on an adjustable cable, 10 push downs, slam the handle to the bottom, 10 curls, lift it back up, 10, just go back and forth like that. You know, there's a lot of ways to go about it. And as long as your overall volume is consistent, I don't really think it's going to matter too much how you mix it up. So if your arm day is going to be 8 sets, you know, as long as I wouldn't want to do 3 sets of triceps, all of biceps, and then 5 sets of triceps at the end. Like that's a big gap in the middle where I probably would lose a lot of my tricep pump and, like, you know, momentum. But, you know, any kind of mix of the two, whichever one you like, as long as you get after it, you're pumped at the end of it, and you know that the sets that you did were solid, you know, legit failure or just legit burning. It doesn't always necessarily have to be like, you know, failure, if you get what I'm saying. But, you know, as long as the effort is there, you know, mix it up how you want. And if you're in a rush, this will be my last point before I pull in there and get started. But if you're in a real rush, a superset arm day is quick. You can really get an arm pump in about 20 minutes if you pick pairs of movements. So let's say rope extensions, dumbbell curls. You know, hit a set of rope extensions for whatever, 15, and then immediately hit a set of dumbbell curls to failure. You know, no rest, no nothing. Drop the rope, grab the dumbbells. That's 2 sets in one. Now it's a little more hefty on your system just because obviously you just did triceps, no rest, biceps. So, you know, huff and puff for a minute, and then do it again. But, you know, if you told me, Sam, you've got to get the biggest arm pump possible as quickly as possible, that's how I would do it. You know, so if you're ever in a real crunch, I'd say that's your best bet. But if you got time, you know, maybe spinning around a little more. It's kind of weird today, even saying all that, breaking down basically my 4 favorite approaches for arms. I'm still not sure which one's going to feel the best, which would make sense. I don't really know how the weight feels yet. I haven't lifted anything. I'm not even warm. All I do is, you know, get in the car, take my pre, drink a ton of water beforehand, so I'm like hydrated. I've got fluids in my system. But I think the warm-up will tell me what's really going on. Get my rotator cuffs loose, warm up everything else, and then the answer will kind of appear. You know, it's like I've got it's like I've got a Call of Duty perk where the first movement that I want to do that is really going to work will kind of like glow in my vision. So I'm warming up, and then maybe the rope extension will get a little bit of a halo around it, and that'll be my cue. Rope extensions are going to be number 1. But who's to say? I'll find out in about 10 minutes or so. You'll find out in about 10 freaking seconds. So let's get started. Okay. Oh my God. Whew, that was good. I don't think I can do that same weight again though. Okay. Oh, one more of those. Whew. Do a rest pause. Oh, shit. All right. Let's move on. 3 of those freaking perfect. I mean, the chair's as good as anything. All right. All right, perfect. Yeah. Ooh. Good. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay, one more of those. Very squeezing focus with these old bicep bias pull downs. Okay. Oh, let's hope the guy on the preacher is done in one set, because preacher curls would be sweet right now. All right, let's bring this shit. All right. Okay. Ooh. All right. Time for push downs. All right. It is hard to beat the rope. So let's squeeze the shit out of these. I wanted to feel like I can't even do a good rep after 10, because I want to hold these for like, a second, 2 seconds. Out of everything, I think squeezing tricep movements, at least in the beginning, have got to be my favorite. And then once I'm pumped, move on to, nastier kind of quicker reps. But starting squeezing, freaking love it. Okay. Ooh, all right. Let's lose these extra weights. Do one more. Yeah. Let's switch to something else. 2 good starters, though. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. One more of those. Okay. Oh, okay. All right. Same handle, but a very different movement for the next 2 sets. All right. This will be good. Much more stretch focused than squeeze focused. All right. All right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Oh, one more of those. And at the bottom, I'm totally relaxing. 100% tricep tension. Okay. Oh, okay. All right. I don't know what to do next. I'll think about it for a minute. Let's finish with a light squeezing, hand over hand crossover. Drop a cable, do a finisher set of curls, purely for additional pumpness, and then find some mirror space. And this is light. This is only like, I don't know, 20 pounds. All right. There we go. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Oh my God. Okay. All right. Arms are done. Let's pose down. All right. So what was that? Volume-wise, I can't even freaking remember. I know there was some rope, easy bar, overhead extensions, cables. It's what? 3 rope, 2 easy bar, 2 overhead, 1 cable. So 8 sets for tries. Curls, I can't even freaking remember. But let's see how we're looking. I got a little pink yesterday, but I have yet to burn. I have proved resilient to burnage. And I wonder, because my skin is clearing up pretty good, definitely due to cleaner diet, but I don't know. Every time I'm tan, I've also got clear skin, so maybe there's some UV exposure helping me out as well. But I think it's mainly the diet. If I'm eating a bunch of shit, it shows. But I feel like a freak right now. Let me back up just a little further. Oh yeah, now we're cooking. I'm kind of liking a lat spread without a vacuum, like just kind of pulling my torso upward. Usually I think vacuum looks better, but I mean, once you get a little bit leaner, I mean, you'll notice you're gonna want to pose for much longer and hit different poses just because they all look fucking cooler. Oh yeah. This is killer. Oh man. All right. I'd say within the next, I don't know, month, this pinchable skin layer should have squished down maybe 50% in thickness. And this is something I don't hear people talk about enough, is the fact that as you get leaner quicker. You know, if you're 300 pounds, 100 pounds of body fat, you lose 3 pounds, not super noticeable. But if you're 210, 10 pounds of body fat, and you lose 3 pounds, that's huge, right? That's a 30% reduction. And you tell me, but I feel like the difficulty of losing a pound, I mean, the math is just the math, right? It's always gonna be that 3,000 something-ish calorie deficit per week. So the difficulty, I mean, obviously it's hard to lock in for months on end, but the difficulty kind of remains the same. Do your cardio, don't eat a shit ton of Ben & Jerry's, count your macros, right? You're gonna watch the scale go down. And then the cool part is it'll look visually like you're getting leaner quicker, right? 100 pounds of extra body fat to 50 pounds, that's a huge difference. But it'll be much more noticeable going from 50 pounds to 25 pounds, and then 25 to 12 and a half. So it's kind of this exponential increase of the freak factor. So I'm definitely in a spoiled position because I'm closer to that like 10-ish pounds, 15 pounds of extra body fat, not, 100 or so. But the logic applies. You definitely got to lock in. I'm not saying it would be easy to go from like a 300 pounder to a 200 pounder, but it can certainly be done. And don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Freaking victim mentality. But I'm gonna camp out of the bike, play on my phone, watch a bunch of TikTok edits, then we can get in the car and get out of here. I gotta freaking eat something. I'm hungry. There we go. Yeah, that was a good one. That was what I'm talking about. Hefty, still some good light squeezing work, solid pump, really solid pump. I'm glad I ended up doing buys then tries. That definitely kind of added to well, I don't know, just a more brolic kind of pose down, because when your triceps are fully pumped, I feel like it adds additional width to your frame. You know, just like how when your shoulders are pumped, it makes you wider. Well, your triceps are just one notch below that kind of shoulder bump. Nice. I talked to that guy last time I was here in like August. Hell freaking yeah. Same gym, but different people, right? It's like how a guy never walks through the same river twice. Same thing. A guy never goes to the same gym twice. He's not the same guy, and it's not the same gym. Ideally, you come back bigger is kind of the point that I'm getting at. But yeah, when you got a tricep pump, shit, man, you look wide. You hit a lat spread. I hit a lat spread. You got that extra oomph to you, you know. So that's just freaking fun for me. But yeah, that gym had some energy. I was going. I'm not even eating that much food right now. I'm not carbed up and full, but even with just maintenance, minor, you know, deficit below maintenance, ooh, dude, I was getting going. Like between those sets of triceps especially, you know, I was definitely getting amps for those heavy curls in the beginning, but those push downs and overhead extensions, for those I was freaking getting after it. I think my music choices were quite good. There was some shit that was kind of more like, not exactly metallic, but just sort of like, I don't know. I guess what's the word? I don't know. My ability to describe songs purely by their genre, I guess I got to work on that a little bit. But my like tracks are all over the place. I'm talking from Ariana Grande to Dragon Force to Post Malone to, you know, freaking everything in between. You know, there's some Lady Gaga in there. It's not like I'm listening to every one of these people's songs, but, you know, you hear one and it just scratches your brain a certain way. Shit, man, that's going in the like tracks. That's going in my freaking playlist. I should have done a Discover Weekly, but I don't know. Honestly, Spotify's been kind of slacking with the Discover Weekly. The best songs that I've been finding have just been from watching TikTok edits and then just finding the song from the edit. Those have been way better. I found a couple good ones like that. But yeah, that was a good lift, and that was getting me going. I don't know. I mean, you tell me how you feel about this, but I think in general, you know, I kind of have a let's just call it a split, not split personality, but a split outlook on the gym as a whole, right? Because objectively, I really do believe everybody should be working out at least a little bit. You know, even if you don't have a routine, even if you don't want to totally be in the gym like a full-on meathead, just coming in, okay, I better do a couple push downs, a couple sets of curls, you know, if you rotate a few shoulder movements, maybe a few sets of a machine leg press, just to get a little, just any exposure. You know, your body needs that. It's good for you, especially as you get older. You know, I mean, I've seen old dudes on planes where they're just freaking whipping their luggage into the overhead like nothing, and I've seen people where they need help. You know, I mean, shit, you're only as strong as your freaking body is. So going, you know, just in general, everybody should be weight training. You know, that is a objective take that I really stand behind. But then there's the more personal kind of like interest side of my mind, because I'm not just going to the gym for the health benefits or just, you know, I guess in a way, more like the fitness benefits. Feel cool being strong. You know, that's one thing that I really like. But, you know, I'm going because I want to kill it. I'm going because I like the feeling of that 10 seconds, you know, 30 seconds or whatever before a hefty set going, all right, you know, just freaking bobbing your head. You got your music playing like a beast, everybody around you's killing it, and you can tell because they're actually bringing it. Like, that whole environment, I just freaking love it, you know, and that's rare. That is the minority, right? I think everybody in the gym is obviously getting pumped to a degree, but I want to be in that upper echelon of mentality. I want to be in that 99th percentile of hype and effort and excitement for the gym. And how I go about doing that is I make sure that I'm prepped. So outside of the gym, I've got a few responsibilities. If my goal is to come in, feel strong, feel like amped and excited, and feel really just, at the end of the day, feel good, well, then I've got a couple of things I need to do outside the gym to make that happen, right? One, just not be okay, but have a good understanding, like, all right, I need a chunk of time. I need a 2 hours is just about right. From getting ready to returning, usually about 2 hours. You're not rushing. You can get in the car, you can take a second before you walk in, finish your watch an edit or something, just get yourself going, get in the right headspace, right? So I'd say I need a chunk of time throughout the day, right? So set that time aside. That is you time. That is pump time. That is for you to get it. Now, once you have that, right, what else is going to make you feel good in the gym? Being well rested, being well hydrated, and being well fed. And I think that those, being well rested and being well hydrated, I think are both S-tier priorities when it comes to your in the gym feeling. If I get 0 sleep, I'm going to feel like shit. If I get 0 fluid intake and I'm like legitimately dehydrated below like a solid baseline, I'm not going to be pumped. I'm going to be tired. I'm going to be more sore. Not going to feel very good, right? So that's one more thing. Then being fed, right? How are you eating? You don't even have to eat a ton. You don't even have to eat in a maintenance crazy bulk 1,000 grams of carbs to come into the gym and feel good. Eat your freaking gram of protein per pound of body weight, maybe about a quarter of that in fats, and then the rest in as many carbs as necessary for what your goal is. You're trying to get leaner, you're gonna have to drop your carbs a little more. You're trying to grow, I'd say add 50, see what happens, assuming you're tracking everything very specifically. And then be in a good kind of mental headspace, right? Don't try not to freak too much. That's a good piece of advice all the time, because the way that I look at it, or I try to think about things like that. Not all the time, but I like to think like this, where there's things I can control and there's things you can't control, right? Everything you can't control, whatever. Shit, man, deal with it. But the things that you can, the things where you've got your hand on the freaking wheel, kill it, right? Make it better. Wake up a little earlier, that kind of shit. And then, last thing, have some sort of goal. If you have something that you're aiming for, if in your mind you're coming into the gym for a reason, I think it makes you work out harder. People who, if you don't have a point to it, then you might feel a little bit aimless. And then, who wants to get amped up for a crazy set if there's no point to it? And for me, that point is a little bit ambiguous because there is no end state. There is no final form. There is no Super Saiyan 4 that I'm trying to achieve. My goal is just to, keep killing it, making progress, whether that's growing, staying strong and lean, even just maintaining is progress in a way, right? Because you're not letting yourself fall backwards. But, no matter what you're doing, if you want to grow or if you want to get leaner, those are really, the two main things. Really embody it, right? Keep it in your mind. All right, I'm growing. I want to get a little bit bigger. I want to get stronger. Usually bigger and stronger kind of go hand in hand. So whatever that thing may be for you, just keep it in your head. Because for me, I just got super excited even just seeing myself really lean, posing down. Plus I got a decently empty stomach, so I was hitting some nasty vacuums. Shit, that gets me excited. That's partially, in a way, I guess my goal. Kill the workout so hard that I look like a freak when I'm posing down. But no matter what it is, just kind of, feel like you're, even if you don't necessarily have a point, just do it like you do, because then you'll go harder. If somebody told me, Sam, I want you to learn how to crochet or something, I don't know, something I wouldn't really be interested in and probably wouldn't have a lot of fun doing. Well, what do you think, I'm going to do it? You think I'm going to put in a lot of effort to get better at it? Probably not. But maybe for whatever reason, I get some sort of itch in my mind that said, I really want to make a Sam special sweater. I want to make a straight up grandma's style Christmas sweater. That's my goal. And for whatever reason, I was just really excited about it. I don't know why. Alternate universe. I'd probably do it. I'd probably practice. I'd probably put a bit of freaking effort and time into it. And I'd want to, hold myself to a certain higher standard of technicality, because I'd say, shit, man, if I want to do it, I want to go all the way. I want to make this shit worth it, So kind of losing my train of thought there with a freaking crochet reference, but I guess that'd be knitting, right? You would knit a sweater. But either way, if you've got a point to what you're doing, I think you're going to do it harder, better, and more consistently, So that's my thing. But if you enjoy it, you might not even need to think about the point, because doing it is the point. Coming in and getting a pump might be the point. And then everything else, you could almost call it like passive gains. Because if you love coming into the gym and lifting and going hard, you're also going to get a good amount of sleep, stay hydrated, eat well, because it's going to make your lifts feel better, right? And then gains are going to come in like a freaking, like a dividend. Like every time you sleep well, hydrate well, keep yourself in a good headspace, that's your weekly investment. And then solid pumps, progress, and just that sort of satisfaction of making some shit happen, that's your return, So kind of a weird way to put it, but I think it's reasonably accurate. But it's bright out. It is bright out. I think 30 minutes per side. I don't know what the UV is. I think that would burn me. So I might call it a little bit shorter than that, but gonna be tan this summer. No melanotan 2 yet. No melanotan 2 yet. That's this melanin upregulating kind of peptide. So guys who are like crazy super pale, sometimes they'll look into that. I don't know anybody that's done that before though. I've heard people talk about it in videos, but usually I can just tan pretty well, standard style. I think the tannest I ever was back in like, when was this? Maybe like a couple summers ago. I don't know. This is back when I was still diving, but I was bronze. That was a while ago. I might get back to that. We'll see what happens. We got a long summer ahead of us. A long, shredded freaking summer ahead of us. But nothing else to say there. I'm not texting. I'm looking at the maps because I don't know where I'm going. But yeah, I will see you tomorrow for some legs. I'm not, I don't know. I'll see how I feel. I just squatted on my last quad day, so I think I might just do, might be a little more tame with the weights. Maybe a little higher volume, not necessarily taking every set of pressing to failure, but just doing more sets of pressing. Because if I do one crazy set of squats, I definitely think that's very stimulating. But if I do 5 less intense sets of leg press, maybe 20 reps, well, my quads are going to be on fire, and they're going to be pumped to like freaking, whatever PSI the tires of a big ass airliner are. So that's what I'm kind of aiming for. But we'll see what happens. In the meantime, I'm going to get some food, get some sleep, get some sun, and then I'll see you tomorrow. So I guess get back to whatever the hell you're doing the rest of today.